Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Cave. Today we are gonna be talking about Krieg from One Piece. Krieg is one of those characters that we meet at the beginning of the story. This is one of the main antagonists in the first East Blue saga. And I wanted to talk about him because I love pre-timeskip. I love the beginning of the story. I love how Oda sets up the mood for a fantasy story, obviously. And as well at the same time, here in the channel I am doing some analysis of videos, analysis of chapters, analysis of movies, but I fancy as well going back and talking with characters that are forgotten. So this is like a conversation between myself, Krieg, for example, in this case, and seeing where he can go from here, because obviously spoilers in this video, a lot of spoilers in this video, up to 1174 manga more or less, but he's been shown again in a very small panel, and I want to see what that information entails, okay? And I want to see as well from his reward poster originally as well, how that is gonna be, I would say, giving us some information of his possible path, okay? I love to talk about always here in the channel about Krieg being one of those characters from the beginning, like Albedo, like for example Crocodile as well, like Mihawk, like Buggy, that I think they are important for the story, even if Krieg is not at that level, like the other characters that we have been dragging during the years and years here in One Piece. But I think it's very important, the concept of characters from the beginning. Now Oda is closing the story, is starting to basically find a reason of some of the characters to be. We see this with many characters. I have a video, for example, about Albedo that I'm gonna put here on the top, that you can click, and you will see there how the alliance that Buggy, for example, has with Albedo, in my opinion, is not something forgotten, is not something random, and it is something that we, as a reader, we forget. And Buggy, yes, now it's a Yonko, etc., but he is not the boss as such. So he was in partnership, 50-50 with Albedo, to kill Luffy. So that needs to come back. So in that theory, I explain how she is gonna be a key part of Luffy's first time losing against Blackbeard at the end of the story, like it happened multiple times with Crocodile, for example, where Luffy was defeated 2-3 times, and Albedo needs to play a key part there. So again, there are characters like Captain Kuro, for example, that I love. I would love to see more of him. There are characters like Krieg, for example, here, Jin, that we will be talking about these two characters today a little bit. Yes, I want to see where they can go. I have some ideas, okay? I have some ideas that I'm going to be discussing here with you, and let's see what do you think about it. Some of them are a little bit of fan fiction, a little bit of wants from me as a reader, what I will want to see in the story, but obviously we will see the conversation, how it goes. So first of all, I just want to introduce a little bit Krieg and how do we meet this guy. First, just so you know, I'm going to be drawing a little bit of my cartooning style here. Krieg is a very cartoony character for me, because the proportions that he has change a little bit in the manga, in the anime, and when he is fighting as well. Oda uses a lot of stretch and squash on his face, so he can actually be shouting and be very upset. He is a very irritable character, he's always upset, and I like it. So I want to draw him, I think, here a little bit more cartoony, I would say. Okay, so let's see how that's gonna end up being at the end. So let's see, maybe I'm just trying to see the shape. How are we gonna do him? I want him to have this kind of extravagant type of body, so he's gonna have the arms like this probably. I want the other here, and I want to make him probably holding the spear. If he's holding the spear, he shouldn't have this, but maybe I can make the spear before he put the plates on it. Okay, so probably if I want to play with this game, I'm gonna have to go into the realm of maybe sinking a little bit his head more into the armor piece like this. Okay, because in theory he should be, in this caricature, he should be all armor, or most of it armor. Okay, so we're gonna be drawing a little bit like Frankie, you know, a little bit like Frankie style, like this, a little bit like Hosu style as well, but something like this. And obviously I want to make sure as well that I am not going out of the space that I have here for the drawing. Okay, but so far let's see, something like this can be interesting. Yes, okay, and this arm can be closed like this. So as I said, it's gonna be a cartoony type of Don Krieg this time, and wrapped like this. So when, you know, after defeating Bogi, as I said, defeating Bogi, Albedo, Captain Kuro, a couple of bad guys that we have at the beginning of the story, we go into the Baratie saga, where we meet Sanji, where Sanji, that I'm gonna put a video about him here as well, where he, in his nice attitude in terms of food, regarding people who needs food, because he had his past in this kind of shipwreck with the boss of Baratie, the chef, Seth. So we see how both of them are similar, and they want to feed everyone that is hungry. So we have an interesting character coming in, that is Jin. Jin is a pirate, is a bad guy, and what we see with him is that he tells a little bit of his story to Sanji. Sanji says, you know, I don't care about this, I'm gonna feed you anyway, even if you don't have food, I'm gonna feed you anyway. This is all obviously because some of the guys there, like Carne, Patty, and all of them, they refuse to feed someone without money, because they didn't live the experiences that Sanji, for example, or Zev had with this shipwreck. So Sanji ends up feeding the guy, and he's very, very emotional about it. Jin is very emotional about it. He cries and everything, and he says, you know, you're such a nice guy. I am gonna bring you my boss, Don Krieg, and the crew, because they are starving and they are gonna die. If we don't help them, they are gonna die. So we have this moment where you know, a little bit of the story with the Baratie continues, with Luffy being silly around, being the chore boy and everything, and then Don Krieg shows up. Don Krieg shows up very feeble, like weak, and once again they've been fed by the Baratie guys, by Seth, by Sanji, and as soon as Krieg recovers the energy a little bit, he goes violent. Okay, their ship is destroyed, the crew is destroyed. He goes violent as soon as he has a little bit of strength against all of them. He kind of demands food for all his crew, so they can come back and take the Baratie for themselves and go back to the Grand Line. Why is all of this? All of this is because basically these guys were very famous in the East Blue, and they went into the Grand Line like all the pirates want to do, all the great pirates need to do to become someone, and they are utterly destroyed. All of this happens because they encounter Mihawk. Mihawk is one of the Shichibukai, and he slashes all the ships. So he cuts the ship in two all the time. So all the fleet is sunk there. There are 50, if I'm not mistaken, 50 ships in this armada that Don Krieg commands, around 5,000 people, 5,000 pirates that he commands. All of them are destroyed, but the flagship, that is the one that he uses, obviously, that is almost in the brink of dying as well, but it's still hanging there, okay? So they are introduced with this story like this, that they are, bad guys. And what we see with all of this is that when they manage to get the food, and Don Krieg, goes back, comes back forward, brings all the people, all the bad guys, and they start this fight. Mihawk shows up. Mihawk shows up, and he cuts the last ship that they had, the flagship, in half, and obviously, Don Krieg thinks that he is being hunted by this guy, and then to understand, to learn that the only thing that Mihawk was doing there is just, some sport. He was bored. They woke him up from his siesta, his nap, and he basically cuts them and destroys them. So they are not important. Think about this. East Blue is in theory the weakest. They say it's the weakest sea. We have Don Krieg that claims to be the strongest. At some point Boggy claims to be the strongest. At some point Arlong claims to be the strongest in East Blue. So we never know at the end of the day who is the strongest here. In my opinion, it should have been Arlong, obviously, because Arlong is the last bit that we have to bypass before going into Grand Line and everything, and before going into Lockdown, that where Smoker and everything is. So Don Krieg makes a name for himself in the East Blue, creates this massive armada because he is a pirate. Okay, we want to see pirates in One Piece like Don Krieg. Don Krieg, I think, is very similar as well to Blackbeard in that sense. I would say we are, oh my god, we hate this guy because he's bad, or oh, we hate this. Just think about it in the sense of Don Krieg, like Blackbeard. They are pirates. They need to, I don't know, control towns. They need to take people. They need to ask for ransoms, for rewards for people. They need to collect money. They need to destroy. They need to steal. So there's nothing wrong in theory about Don Krieg in that sense, because he's a pirate, but we need to see the difference between One Piece character regarding a good pirate like Luffy, that they don't kill, they are, good guys, and bad guys like, in this case, pirates, proper pirates, like Blackbeard, like Boggy, I would say as well, and Don Krieg, etc., etc. At the beginning of One Piece there is this very nice separation, I would say, between types of pirates. And the pirates that are good, they are called peace mains. And the pirates that are bad, they are called buccaneers. All of this concept evolves later in the story to the point that the buccaneers, now we have buccaneers as a race of guys, okay? And that is almost extinct with Kuma and everything. And the concept of peace main, I think, is why Oda goes to the length of calling the story One Piece, with the concept of peace mains, okay? Mixing the word peace as a something with the word peace as peace, basically. So very interesting. I like it, and I want to see more conclusion. I want to see how Oda is going to create all of this, I would say, comparison going forward, because we are seeing more and more pirates that are good, characters that are good, and characters that are bad at the same time as well, okay? So, let's see. We are creating here the armor pieces, okay? Don Krieg is an armored guy, as you can see. When we are in Baratie fighting him, he's very proud, very cocky, and he is full of himself, basically. A character that I think has been created by the process of grandeur. When you have nothing, let's say, you don't have money, you don't have nothing, you are just very living day by day, You may be one type of person, your true self, okay? And sometimes when you start, getting money, power, and influence, you become someone else. And this is not only in the world of One Piece, this is everywhere. So I think this is what happened to Don Krieg. Don Krieg, full armor Krieg here, that sometimes he's called like this, it is something that he created after he started to have a name for himself, okay? So we see all these golden armor pieces that he's so proud of. We see these weapons, like for example the spear that he has, that as soon as the spear is connected with these two shoulder pieces, it's gonna be an explosive weapon. And other many weapons that he has for cruelty, basically, like for example the Emu-eichi-faibu. Emu-eichi-faibu is a bomb that he has stored in his body that he can shoot, and this will create a gas, and obviously his crew is prepared with masks for this poison, for this poisonous gas, so they are not contaminated. And he uses the mask, he uses the gas in this fight against Luffy and everything, and we see, we see all the developments. I'm not gonna go into details in the story because obviously I don't want to talk about the story in theory. I want to talk about Don Krieg as a character and Don Krieg as the past, as the future of the character, basically. Okay, but yeah, let's do all these pieces as well. There is a very nice piece that he has here on the. That I'm gonna draw it basically on the fist. He has this diamond type of a glove, so he can punch harder. He has the spear that explodes. He has this cape here that he's wearing. Okay, we're gonna draw here now as well. That when using it the other way around, spikes come from it. So Luffy is punching through the spikes and everything, and he's able to punch his face. Like Luffy doesn't care about that. Seth is very focused in Luffy, encouraging him, giving him good vibes, because he says to Sanji, look at this kid, he has this kind of speed of conviction. Even of all these weapons that this guy is having are not going to be enough to defeat the speed of conviction that Luffy has. This kind of will. Basically, this may be the will of the will of fighting, the love for adventure. And very interesting character. I like Seth as a mentor, specifically in this saga. I like Seth as a counterpart of this guy. Seth is humble in the sense of, for example, clothing. He's just wearing a chef, a cook outfit, very simple. He is not having any kind of visible weapon because he uses his feet, not having any kind of visible, let's say, aggressivity towards the concept of piracy. So he looks like a comfortable pirate, something that we see with Roger, we see with Rayleigh, we see with the good pirates. And I think that makes him a very, very interesting mentor and very interesting pirate concept. Obviously, because of Seth here, because of the counterpart of Don Krieg here, many other characters have been developed. I always say I love more the old Gold Roger, when the old Gold Roger was, in the images, dangerous. And we don't see that with Seth in this saga, because he's an old man. But the thing is, I think that character Seth created like a pattern that Oda decided to take to make all of these titans of piracy in One Piece, good guys obviously, make them nice, okay? Nice, that they are not aggressive looking, that they're someone that could be your grandpa, your sweet grandpa, and at the same time terrible in fighting, but not aggressive with armor, with spikes, with, character design traits that they will be more warrior, okay? These are more adventurers, these are more peace mains that I'm talking, okay? And this guy is more something like Buccaneer. We see this as well in the future with other characters, but for now, let's carry on here. This is gonna be the hand. We need to create at least here in this one his logo, his skull, a little bit here as well, okay? Like this, and then like this. something very basic. He has the cross in the skull with the sand. This is a sand clock thingy, so you can see how long you have left of living. You're gonna die soon, basically. This is something that pirates used to use in real life, in the flags, for example. You know, skull, bones, knives, swords, kind of snakes as well, some sort of clocks as well, to show you how long you had of life and everything, and because you were gonna die soon upon meeting these pirates and everything. It's very interesting to read about real pirates, so you can understand a lot of the things that Oda is using for his story. I love pirates. I have plenty of books about pirates. I have plenty of books as well about mythology that Oda drinks a lot as well from this, and I recommend you, if you are a fan of One Piece, if you are a fan of fantasy, mythology, history, to pick up some books. I know you can find all the information online, but I always love to recommend to pick up some books and try to enjoy the reading of the beginnings, where all of these stories to create One Piece, or other mangas, like, you know, Naruto about ninjas, samurais, Bleach, and all these things, how all of those things start, okay? Start by other stories as well, by other pools of information, okay? So, let's do, as you can see, you know, chilling today, talking today, nice. I think we have a pretty accurate sketch of Don Krieg. Obviously this is not visible in the proper drawing of Don Krieg, but I am just fancying to add it because I think it gives a little bit of obviety, so you can see some obvious things in the character that maybe later are gonna be used by the enemy, in this case, because he's enemy, obviously, okay? So just doing the bottom here like this, and I think I'm gonna just basically start now adding the line work. So as well, very easy, we will do all of this very easy. Let's go for the mouth first. I think if we frame the mouth here, this very proud type of face, then we can address the whole design here, very nice looking like this, the teeth, and the nose. If you realize about the nose, in some of the designs is different, but here from one of the posters, I think it's one of the posters I'm trying to take reference, is kind of like a parrot. The parrot is a typical animal that you could see in a pirate story, and normally they portray him as you see, giving him human traits. They portrayed him, the parrot, as a bad guy as well, always. Like, he's always perched on top of the bad guy, and I think this is one of those things that Oda took as a reference to create the face of Don Krieg as well here. So let's do his proud, long, and big face here like this. And now the chin. In the present, Don Krieg is... it has been seen in Hachinosu. It has been seen together with Jin and together with Pearl. Pearl is another of the characters, another of the main characters in Don Krieg crew. He is as well full armored, full of pearls that when clashed together with friction, they will create fire. And he is basically like a turtle, let's say, I would say he's looking like a turtle of diamond and shields, and yeah, we fight him as well in the story. Very interesting character. I'm curious and funny to see that we see the guy now with Don Krieg. I would have thought that guy is gone for good after fighting Sanji and everything, not because Sanji killed him, but because the plot of the story, I think, leads you towards, in my opinion, towards Jin taking control of the Krieg pirates, Don Krieg realizing that he's not who he thought he was actually, he's weaker, and assuming that Jin takes control, because Jin was, in theory, behaving more like a captain than him in this saga, in this problems that they had in Baratie, basically, in my opinion, okay? But we see them, all of them now, and I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen there. Important thing that I wanted to say, and it's one of the reasons as well why I'm picking Don't Krieg today, is even if they come more or not in the story, okay, I think Don't Krieg now in the Hachinosu image has very long, wild hair. He's very serene in his look, in his drawing. He has the sunglasses like Jin as well, both with sunglasses, like, you know, they are cool. Even if they belong to some sort of Blackbeard branch of, you know, fleet, I don't know, they could. But the thing is, what I'm trying to put together here is, there is a poster of Don't Krieg originally when he's introduced where he is not shown with that much of armor. He's shown, you know, strong and everything, but he's not shown with that much of protection. He's more like a wild card. I see as well images in that frame where the poster is at the beginning, where the hair is very long, very white, like a lion. It reminds me like a lion. So I think, and this is my fan fiction to this part of the story, is what happened here is Don't Krieg started as a very strong guy physically, not having Akuma no Mi or anything, obviously, physically very strong. I think what happened is that he started building a crew, you know, Jin, Pearl to start, and then more people. He started conquering East Blue every now and then, going to towns, you know, ransacking everything, collecting loot, etc., etc. And at some point, he sees himself, I have 1 ship, I have 2 ships, I have 10 ships, I have 30 ships, and as he grows, as he earns money, as he earns power and, you know, notoriety in the East Blue, you know, his price is going up as well. I think he starts becoming more and more cocky, you know, believing in himself in a way that it is not healthy. Okay, you can be cocky, yes, anytime, but cocky always has this negative connotation. So I think what happens here is that he starts realizing about, oh, you know, I'm the boss here, I'm the best, I'm the strongest. And this is something that it is explained in this saga as well. It's not that you are the strongest, it's that you have the crew with the most people in there, you know. There's plenty of people, that's why you are the strongest, because if you wanna fight against 10 guys and you are 5,000, obviously you are gonna win, because those guys, because they are a small team, they can't keep up with your waves and waves of enemies, okay? And weaponry, for example, okay? So, interesting concept, very interesting concept there. So let's do, this is the sand clocks here. Okay, a very pirate thing to do, we said, a very real pirate thing. This all full of screws here, because obviously he's armored or metallic as well. Don't Krieg, as I said at the beginning, I think this is some initial testing of Oda to try to investigate for Frankie. Obviously at this stage Frankie is not designed. Oda has some rough sketches about many of his characters, but obviously characters that we are gonna meet like 7 sagas afterwards are not designed at all here, just so you know that when creating a story, I was talking with a student the other day, and when you create a story, you are trying to think about everything, yes, but at the same time you cannot create everything. That's why the stories evolved sometimes as you go by creating other things. As you can see, we have this example, like all of these pieces are very Frankie pieces. Let's do all these lines that we need for Don't Krieg here, for the belly, armor piece that is here. Okay. So what I wanted to say with all of this is I think Don Krieg was wild, strong, savage, fighter, you know, animal. And he started relying more in his guys, in his people, in his weapons, in his protection, in his armor. And that's what made him lose against Luffy. Because that's what Seth says about the speed of conviction, okay? He was relying too much in external factors, not in his own power as a warrior, not in his, let's say, haki, physical strength, just in the poison, in the guns, in the spears, in, you know, tricky. Pirate, real pirate, okay? But tricky in the sense of trickster, I mean, in the sense of not honorable, okay? Not honorable. Let's do all of this. So I think what happens after he is defeated by Luffy is that Jin takes all of them defeated out, they heal at some point, and then they rebuild, they go into Grand Line, because in the Grand Line they last 1 week. In the 7th day, Mihawk shows up, destroys them all, they escape. They don't get out, they escape. And what is the only way, being at the beginning of the Grand Line, that they could have escaped? They can't escape through the waterfall, through the ramp where Laboon is, where Crocus is, because that's only one way. So they must escape, they need to escape through the calm belt that is full of creatures, full of monsters, full of sea monsters that they would rip you. So basically there as well they suffer for some time until they manage to get out of there, okay? So there's a lot of trauma, I would say, in the Don Krieg character, and a lot of realization, a lot of growth after Luffy defeats him. So I think for a character like Don Krieg, so traumatized, they wanted to come back to the Grand Line. They wanted to take Seth's ship to use it as a decoy, like, oh, you know, this is a silly looking ship, and then attack other people in the process. But obviously that doesn't happen because they are defeated, but they wanted to use again the tricks of a pirate to be able to go back into Grand Line and start the journey again. So they weren't actually afraid. Don Krieg as such, the crew, yes. Jin, yes. So something happened there with Jin, with Don Krieg, with Pearl. There was a conversation there that they said, yeah, let's go again. And it's not that they done it into the Grand Line. Into the Grand Line is going to be the new title actually for season 2 of the One Piece live action in Netflix, releasing in a couple of days. I think on the 10th of this month of March is gonna be released. So that's really funny that it just came out like that. But yeah, as I was saying, these characters grow in a way that they managed to go into Grand Line, cross the Grand Line, go to Shabon the Archipelago, underneath Gyojin Island, come out on the other side, reach Hachinosu. The Hachinosu is in the New World, and be in the New World. That is crazy for someone at the level of Don Krieg. The Don Krieg that we know and the Jin that we know cannot be in this journey doing that. So they must have had a growth, a journey, a expansion of power, a level up there, 100%. 100%, okay? So I like it. It's interesting, and I want to see where are we gonna go with all this info. So let's do the arm. We're gonna try to make this like this, and now the spear. If you notice, the spear needs to go through behind him. Okay, maybe I can make it inside the robe. And the rope, no, that will be uncomfortable, so I need to do the rope first, okay? So you see, you need to think how are you gonna do it. So this is gonna be the cloak. We're gonna create some extra spikes here just for the sake of covering this line. And then it's gonna go here. This is cape still. And then it needs to go out. It needs to go out here, okay? If you are here not for the One Piece video, but for the drawing video that I know that some of you are, just for the sake of making sense of this, okay? Like this. I'm gonna try to think how I will grab it. Maybe I will grab it like this. Yeah, something like this, because I'm trying to do this cartoony. The arms are bigger, larger. Like this. And the spear now continues. And this is obviously before he put the plates here, the shoulder pieces here, to make it like the explosive weapon that he has, okay? Like this, going around, covering here the arm. We can make some extra lines to attach, like the thing that this is attached here somehow with some sort of stripes as well. And then we need to make this hairy circle like this, and we know that inside here somewhere he has the mask as well and everything, so we can kind of maybe do that. Maybe he has the mask here for the MH5 later, you see, next to the shoulder piece. So just a detail that maybe later when you are watching the drawing you don't realize, no one realizes but me or we that they are here talking about it. Yes, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's character exploration and character design, okay, for all of this. Let's not forget about these double lines here and some lines that we will do in a bit with a darker tone of a thicker tone of the pen, okay? So here we're gonna make this like this, nice, okay? And again on this other side as well. I need to finish these legs that I haven't finished yet. It gives me as well a little bit of vibes of some of the Doflamingo guys, especially Diamante with the concept of diamonds, with the concept of this cape, the concept of this stylized style that I'm doing at the moment as well. Here I want to do flat feet like this. I like it when it's like this, okay? And again, as I said, this is fan art, this is me trying to enjoy the video today, talking about Don Krieg, talking about what he can do maybe next. I don't think we are gonna see him as a character doing anything in the story. Maybe he's just in the background, you know, going around in the background, but it was nice to see him. I don't think he has the importance to do much, to be honest. I think there are characters that are important, like Buggy, like Albida from the beginning, that could give us a lot of trouble at the end, a lot of problems at the end. And watch those other videos in the channels that I have, because it is interesting, at least just to brainstorm what can happen and why, in what way, okay? So let's do all of this. So I think, and I want to believe, that the new Don Krieg is gonna be someone willing to follow, not full of himself anymore. Like, it can be a little bit cocky because that's character, that he has this type of character, but I wanna see a Don Krieg where he is not the boss. I want to see a Don Krieg where he is the number one of Jin. He follows Jin everywhere now. Pearl as well. They accepted Jin as the new boss. And basically, he's not relying so much in his weapons. He's wild again. He fights with his fists. He fights with his will, with his soul. He can have weapons, yes, he can have some of the weapons, but everything is toned down. We see the aggressivity that he may still have, this wildness, this kind of animal wildness that he has, more in the sense of physical fight without relying in weapons, or in weapons that are bad. In terms of all the weapons are bad, yes, but I'm talking about, let's say, the gas weapon, for example. That's cheating, basically. You don't want to fight like that, okay? You don't want to do... if you're honorable, let's say, the concept of the samurai, the concept of bushido, that you are honorable. You cannot just throw gas at your enemy and then your enemy cannot fight, so you won, and that's it. That's not, you want to fight, and within the fight, equal to equal, be able to win, okay? And this is as well as sportsmanship as well, you know? You don't want to let, you are now with the Olympics and everything, you don't want to, with the winter competitions and everything, you don't want to leave another guy have like an accident maybe while you are running or something, and not being able to actually challenge you. You have been training so hard, you have been strengthening yourself so hard, like in this case, to defeat the other one, okay? You don't want to just win by luck or randomly, and I think this is something that Don Krieg as a character could have learned that after fighting Luffy, after, you know, being taken in and saved by Jin, and I like it. I like it. Will be a very interesting approach, I think, for the story, to be honest. Let's start to do some armor pieces here, like this, here. I'm gonna do it very rough in the sense of how much I'm painting with yellow, but at the same time, with the black, we can cover some of these lines. This is gonna be dark. I think this could be interesting if it is dark. Okay, and then here we paint. All this. I want to know your opinion about Don Krieg. I want to know if you like that he has been shown again. I want to know as well if you think that Don Krieg has something to do, maybe. Maybe you are of the thinking that yes, Don Krieg has been shown there because yes, he needs to do one final move or something like this. Maybe because now he's with Jin, he's accepting everything with Jin's leadership, let's say. Maybe he wants to assist Luffy in some sense at some point. We have this maxima, this rule in One Piece, that most of the bad guys in One Piece, they end up helping Luffy somehow later, like Crocodile and the Escape of Impel Down, Buggy, Mr. 3. Most of those guys end up working with Luffy in some sense. Are we gonna see something like this with Don Krieg? Maybe it can be. It would be. I would love to see. You know, it would be very emotional. A meet up again, once again. Of Jin and Sanji, and they can have a chat, or maybe Jin can give Sanji food. Maybe after that Jin decided to, because they suffer so much with food in the Grand Line and they were gonna die, maybe Jin said, yes, I learned from you, I learned from Seth, and I decided to be the cook on my ship, on like Seth, basically. And that's the reason why they managed to survive. Maybe they've been defeated a couple of times in the Grand Line and in the New World, like it should be. Even Luffy has been defeated many times, and at the same time, they survived because they had, you know, the knowledge of Jin now, cooking, blah blah blah, like Sanji. It could be interesting comparison. Because why? Because it's showing you a growth in the character in that sense. I would like that as well. Think about it. Tell me what's your opinion about that. Okay, I know it's a little bit irrelevant for the main story. Whatever Jin is gonna do, whatever Don Krieg is gonna do, is irrelevant for the story. But I love One Piece. I love the lore. Is the thing that I love the most, and I wanna see if we can figure out things here together, if we can just unravel things, you know, just speculate about things, fanfic about things, and yeah, why not? Okay, why not? Let's do. I don't remember the speed how it was, but I'm gonna do just a red tone here, and why not? We can do a darker tone of brown for the spear as well, so we can actually see it coming here to the back. I want to add some other parts in black, like he has these gloves that he's wearing. It's like, for me it looks like gloves, but underneath of this he is wearing some sort of shirt, and this is something as well normal in if you check medieval armors and things like this, you will see how they used to have other pieces underneath the main piece, so they could actually cover properly and secure, let's say, secure that pieces to the armor as well, so they will hold. The spikes needs to be like this, like grayish probably. I will add a little bit of black maybe in a second, but like this I like it. And the inside of the cape, I think we should do it a little bit darker as well. I'm gonna just sharpen this one a little bit. I know maybe some of you were expecting to see 1175 here. I haven't read 1175 yet, as per the time of recording, so whenever it's out soon, hopefully soon, because we had a break, we will see what's the episode about. Okay, I think it will continue where we left in the story, but hold there, bear with me, because probably I'm gonna be analyzing it in another video, probably maybe next week or next Saturday, or maybe I do a double analysis doing 75 and 76 at the same time. It could be interesting as well, I don't know. But yeah, feel free to drop in the comment section down below if you wanna see that as well, or if you were expecting to see that as well and you wanna see the yes or yes and all of those things. So I have like a little bit of a guidance on things that you want to watch as well. Okay, I'm gonna be keeping drawing One Piece characters anyway, and I'm gonna be keeping the chapters analysis every now and then coming anyway, because I like it for myself, and yeah, but it's nice to see as well what you wanna watch here, okay, in the channel. A part of the other type of videos that I do about drawing and about sketchbook tours, etc, etc. Okay, but in general, it's interesting. So what do I see that is happening here? The black tone as the art type of the drawing, the dark tone here with the black is overtaking the drawing right now. So what we need to do, because I wanted the inside of the cape being dark, and to cover this as well here. So what we want to do now is to maybe potentiate a little bit with other colors the armor, and then give it a little bit of life with probably a thicker pen, maybe 0.3 probably. This one is Supracolor, soft Carandash. As you can see, is a little bit softer while drawing. You see all this texture that is leaving. I have a full set of Carandash that I haven't opened yet, and probably I need to do an unboxing about that while drawing one of the characters, maybe, and talking about how the pencils are and everything. It could be interesting as well. So this one I want it darker for the inside. Okay. These lines here, so the white can pop a little bit, like that. Okay, interesting, it's looking nice, I like it. So far, and the bottom here as well, to create this fancy type of cloak or cape, or I don't know how you want to call it, depending on this looks for me more like a cape, to be honest. For a little bit of context in pirate world and how Don Krieg behaves like a pirate. So pirates used to use a lot of tricks as well. They used to pose as maybe merchants, maybe armada, maybe non-pirate flag flying on the ship, so they could approximate, they could get close to an enemy that they wanted to board or you know, kill or steal. And this is actually how Don Krieg was made, basically. He was a pirate already. He was a pirate that he managed to take control of a marine ship, and at some point what he was doing, and this is something that we see in one of the movies with some of the pirates, that they resign and they take the ships with them, some of the marines that they resign and they take the ships with them. So basically he would pose as a marine. Hey, I'm a marine, no worries, I'm gonna approximate this other ship, and then they will reveal that they are bad guys. Actually, they are pirates, and they will start fighting or looting or killing or anything that they will have to do. So that is a very real thing. Okay, I like of Don Krieg the humanity of the character when talking about character design. Okay, Don Krieg is, I think the mask, they made it like a little bit of green, no? I'm gonna put the mask here on the side, okay? So, the character of Don Krieg, it shows the evolution of One Piece. In One Piece, we have a fantasy story, okay? A fantasy story where the main guy has a superpower given by a fruit, okay? Many stories are about superpowers, but in One Piece, what is nicely done is that you, as a reader, doesn't matter if you are younger or older, you start watching something, reading something, and you say, okay, I can connect with this because it is believable. What happens in One Piece? Yes, Luffy has a power, but everyone around him, Alvida at the beginning, Kobe at the beginning, Nami at the beginning, Zorro at the beginning, all of them are humans. They may have some quirkiness to them, that they use 3 swords, they are able to handle a very big club, but the story is human. And then we reach the point that we meet Buggy, and Buggy has a devil fruit as well, like Luffy. So then Oda is slowly introducing the mysticism, introducing the fantasy of the story. So slowly is giving you a spoon of sugar there. So you are like, oh, look at this. And then after that, there's another character that can use another fruit, that is a smoker. And then you see how the characters start to grow, and by the time that we are now in the story, everyone has fruit, everyone has power, because we forgot about the normal human characters at the beginning of the story. Okay, like in Fuchsia Village, Shanks is introduced and he hasn't had a fruit, the crew doesn't have fruit either, so everything is being introduced slow. The magic, like for example, you are watching Harry Potter, you like Harry Potter like me as well, and you are watching Harry Potter at home, chilling, and at the beginning of the story, what happens? That you are introduced to a normal life. That is the hero's journey, the status quo, okay, from Joseph Campbell's book, that I'm gonna put the book in the show more section so you can investigate and read if you're interested in this. In the hero's journey is like a clock. It needs to be a status quo, and then there needs to be a call to action. Something happens, something magical happens, like Harry Potter realizes that he has some sort of power. The letters start arriving, everything is magical. Then Hagrid shows up and say, hey, by the way, you are a wizard, let's go to the wizard world and everything. So here in One Piece, then you have the normal world where everyone around Luffy is normal until he eats the fruit when he is a kid. You see? And then the hero's journey starts. He starts training with his fruit, he starts getting familiar with his power and everything, but at the beginning, he was just a normal guy, and slowly the fruits that they were basically mythology. Some of the people at the beginning of the story are like, oh, what are you talking about? This guy has a fruit, oh my god, what is this? Mythology within One Piece. And then you grow into the aspect of this mythology being real at some point. It gets so real that, obviously, I said, spoilers ahead, I said, in Elbaf now, the mythology of Elbaf is about sun god, blah blah blah, Nika, blah blah blah, the fruits, blah blah blah. All of those things now, the mythology is so blended, so mixed with reality that these humans, let's assume that let's say that the giants are humans. Those guys, within their legends and the stories, they are able to walk amongst the gods. You see, in this concept, like the story has evolved so much. If you start, that's why I do not like sometimes how One Piece is promoted. I'm just gonna try to find a brown color, this brown here. I don't like how One Piece is promoted. For example, I love Netflix and I watch many series on Netflix and everything, but Netflix put a little bit of One Piece in the streaming service, and then they put a little bit of the things from quite recent anime of One Piece. And if you see those things, and you see some of the powers from nowadays, and you don't know the past, you don't know the original story, you lose the magic, you lose the transition, you lose the hero's journey. So Netflix and other streaming services, if you want to put One Piece or any kind of story, great, beautiful, we appreciate it, but put it in order. Put it in order, put first the first season, the second season. Well, One Piece doesn't work exactly like that, but put everything in order. So if someone new, like I'm trying to convince some of my friends to watch One Piece, to read One Piece, and oh yeah, I've seen in Netflix this, or I've seen in Netflix that. No, because then you are seeing spoilers there, you don't know what you can see later by surprise, and that is bad. That is bad, okay? So I wanna know as well your opinion about the spoilers. If you had any kind of issue with the spoilers, or you have a problem. I like to do my videos when I'm talking about spoilers and everything after the episode is everywhere already. So, and I say it at the beginning of the video, I say it spoilers, or I put it in the box at the bottom of the video, spoilers ahead. So the person who is gonna start the video can see, okay, this guy is gonna be talking about things that maybe if I am not up to date, I don't know, so I'm not gonna watch this. And I always try to say, jump to this other video that I have in the channel, so you can see other theories that have no spoilers or are older, and maybe you are up to date with those theories. Okay, in my opinion, I know this is a utopia, like what Crocodile wanted, like a perfect world and everything, and it's difficult to avoid. But you know, it's something that I myself try to avoid as well when doing the videos and when watching as well my One Piece things as a fan. Okay. So I think we almost finished. We have the character, very nice. I'm happy. I'm proud of this guy. I like how the cartoonization of Don Krieg came to happen in this video. I'm very happy because it's bulky, like I like it, lean, like I like it. You see plenty of weapons that he has. So I think we have constructed here a while chatting about him a very nice image of Don Krieg. Do I think that Don Krieg is someone who would serve under Blackbeard or Jean? No. After being defeated by Luffy? No. Before, I would have said yes. They have the profile of a typical guy that could be nicely placed in Blackbeard's crew as a despicable pirate. Okay, now I wouldn't say that. After seeing that image, after knowing that he is back into business, after knowing that he managed to overcome the difficulties of the Grand Line, to the first part of the Grand Line, to go into even the second part of the Grand Line, that is crazy. There needs to be a growth. There needs to be an evolution. There needs to be not only in strength, but in personality, in character. of the character, okay? So that's why I think maybe he is just there independently, like any other people. I don't think Hachinosu is, how can I say this? I don't think Hachinosu is 100% controlled, I will say. I believe Hachinosu is like in the flashback time, where you can actually be there as a pirate. There are some rules that you need to be, you know, doing. Like, for example, when we see the Rocks Pirates are there, because they basically own the island, but we see Roger there, other groups that are not affiliated with Rocks, for example, are there. So it can be that these guys are just passing through, okay? Passing through. They are not much involved in the ruckus happening in the background where they are going, because all of this is while Vegapunk, I believe is when Vegapunk is talking about the reality of the world and the sinking of the world and everything, and they are just being cool, being badass, walking around, passing through. Maybe it can be something that they are doing there, I don't know. But I want to know your opinion about that as well, because it can change a lot of things. I don't want to have to fight these guys again, to be honest. That is the mask for the Emu-eichi-faibu that he's still having here, okay? Art tip: when using fine liner, doesn't matter if it is micron, doesn't matter standard, doesn't matter what brand it is, and you are using pencils like I've been using here, like working on the drawing on top, you will notice that it's a little bit difficult to draw on top, because obviously the texture that the pencil is leaving, it is not working very nice with the pen. But you can just take another paper on the side and just do a little bit of scribbling on the side, so you clean the tip from the dust that the pencil is creating underneath, okay? That is just a tip if you are here, because the art more than the One Piece story, okay? Like this, looking nice. I wanted to remark the face, that we done the face. I want to remark a little bit here the shoulder pieces. They will become explosive weapon later. The skull as well. Okay, looking nice. What other characters as well? What other characters from the past? We are gonna be seeing Vivi. We're gonna be seeing Vivi soon. Whatever happens in Elba, we're gonna be seeing Vivi soon. We're gonna be seeing as well Wapol, that is with Vivi. All of these guys, you know, from the beginning. Those are gold for storytelling. Those are gold. And as I always say here in the channel, Oda right now is revisiting characters from the past, like this guy, and giving them a reason to be. And there is a big reason to be as well behind Foxy. I'm gonna put my Foxy video here as well. I believe regarding the epic fight, I believe regarding Hachinosu, Blackbeard, Boggy, all of those characters that we are connecting with these comments, okay? These are things that if you are here for a while with me, you will know, because every now and then I'm mentioning in the videos, so you just keep an eye. Even if you missed a previous video, you can just watch this one and say, ooh, actually, that may be true, or not, maybe not. And if you have different opinions as well, feel free to put them in the comment section, so we can actually theorize and discuss why yes, why not, and why another outcome can happen as well, and everything, okay? So let's do this last part with all the spikes for Don Krieg. And just to recap a little bit, today we've been talking about Don Krieg, about the possibility that he was very wild and strong in the past. He got comfortable by using weapons, by using gas, by using tricks. Pirate, yes, pirate thing to do, but not good for your strength. not good for your physical strength. And that's why he basically ended up losing against Luffy, because he relied too much in his weapons and in his tricks instead of in his strength, in his personal strength. And I think now, after fighting Luffy, after seeing him in Hachinosu with Jin, I think he regained some of his original, bravado, force, energy, haki, call it however you want, like his inner strength, basically. And because of this, let's do this line over here. And because of this, we see him again, and we may interact with him, especially Sanji. Just Sanji, just one, hello, this and that to Jin, or something interesting with Jin, and that's it. And they go on their own way, because we can't give too much story to everyone, okay? That's another thing that we need to understand. Not everyone can have so much story. I would love some other characters to have extra stories, okay? If after One Piece, Oda is gonna write specific mini comics, many small comics delivering extra information about Don Krieg, notes about Jin, about Buggy, about Drake, about Kobe, about Helmepo, about Bogart, about secondary characters that we will not see an end, okay? We will not see a panel of okay, this is the end of the adventure of Don Krieg, no. Only, Luffy, Zorro, the rest of the guys, Kobe, probably as well, Kobe, Blackbeard, yeah, the main characters, Buggy, yes, Dragon, so the main guys, yes, will have that, but the secondary characters as such, like this guy, not even secondary character, this is just, at the moment, like background character, they will not have this information shared. So we'll learn probably in Oda's notes. Yes, in Oda's notes he has Don Krieg on the side written, and he says Don Krieg ends up in Hachinosu, and he's now a very strong pirate, blah blah blah. But just for him, for reference, not for us to read or anything, okay? But I love to know these things. This is what I do when I do my stories as well. I try to dig into the world, into the details of the characters very deep, to learn from them, and to see where do they want, what do they want, where do they want to go. And he wanted to go to the Grand Line, he wanted to take the ship, and the diary that the navigation diary that Seth had, he said, because I learned that, Seth, you've been sailing around the Grand Line for 1 full year, and you survived, and you came back. How did you do that? So I'm here to collect your ship and to collect that. So that is the whole reason why he went there. And he said, yes, I'm going to try to do this. So it's like his dream. I see it in that character. If he will be a peace main, that's his dream. That's his. He wants to be the king of the pirates. No, Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates. Maybe he wanted to sail through the Grand Line from the beginning to end, and maybe he's gonna achieve it. Maybe he's gonna achieve it, because I think as well the world is gonna change a lot once Luffy, at the very, very, very end of the story, manages to become the king of the pirates. Okay, so a lot of people are gonna be able to move around freely, I would say. Okay. I'm gonna just create these lines here, like another level of shadow here for this, but I think I like it. Very comfortable video today, very nice talking here with you guys and everyone, with here all my nakamas here, and enjoyable. I think I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more of purple here. I like the humanity of Don Krieg in terms of design, how he is a human. He's just a guy with weapons, and now he is in the new world without a fruit, as far as we know. Jin, the same. Pearl, the same. So that's good, that's nice, that's interesting for me. That's curious how that happened, how they managed to cross through Big Mom's territories, through Kaido's territories, through Shichibukai territories before they were disbanded, how they managed to, did they encounter already Mihawk? No, because I want to see that. Maybe in this Davy Pack fight that is gonna happen with Luffy and everything. If these guys are actually with Blackbeard, we see them in the background when Mihawk arrives with the Cross Guild, that they are like scared and they are trying to escape and everything, or maybe Don Krieg faints and has a shock there, like a trauma, a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder, like PTSD, like, oh my god, that's Mihawk, that's the one who actually crushed our dreams in the past. I don't want to see him. And, you know, Jean, being the captain, is kind of standing and say, yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to be here. We're going to fight him if we need to fight him again. You know, until we die, just pursuing our dreams of sailing through the whole Grand Line. That could be interesting, and you don't need an episode or anything. You can just do one panel, and you are set. It can be interesting. So I think we finished for today. Let's sign. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragoscape. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like the talk and the drawing today, this cartoony Don Krieg, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.